This episode of the Totally Rad Show is brought to you by HostGator. Aaron Sorkin makes a big return to TV with his new HBO drama with Jeff Daniels, The Newsroom.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Totally Rad Show. We've got a great week today. We are finally taking a sneak peek, or a peek actually because it came out Sunday, of Aaron Sorkin's new HBO series, The Newsroom.
Yeah, and then tomorrow, Spec Ops: The Line comes out. We have the lead designer of Spec Ops: The Line came in and hung out with us, and we played the game with him. It's really cool, yeah.
And then on Wednesday, Magic the Gathering Duel of the Planeswalker 2013 has been out, but we are talking about it on Wednesday. We all played it on the iPad.
Correct, the Moondago.
Yeah.
Thursday, time to talk about stuff that was on our radar. We are getting back to On Our Radar.
And then Friday, we're wrapping things up with a TED Talk. We're talking about Ted, the movie. It is wild and woolly. I don't know why I said that.
Because it is.
Hey, backgrounds.
Yes.
This background's hilarious. Speaking of wild and woolly,
Yes.
there's things you could describe Pokemons as.
I believe Ted is the lost Pokemon in our world.
Yeah, that's us as Pokemen. And you can have your background
Ty
on our
Bilal
show.
sent that in.
Yes, Ty Bilal sent that in. Thank you, Ty. And if you want to be like Ty, you can send your background to fans at TotallyRadShow.com.
Correct. And also, if you want to just be amazing and awesome, come down to Comic-Con and check out our panel Friday night, 8 o'clock in the evening in room 24 ABC. Get there early to get your seats.
I think it's Friday the 13th, actually.
It may be. I don't know that information off the
July
top of my
13th.
pants.
Yep.
Let's get into it.
Because early that day is Game of Thrones. It's come for Game of Thrones. Stay for the other best
in
show.
a different room.
Yeah.
Today we are back in television, finally getting a look at the new, much anticipated Aaron Sorkin drama on HBO called The Newsroom. So The Newsroom follows a news reporter on a sort of CNN type anchor, MSNBC, one of those type of program or 24-hour news networks, played by Jeff Daniels.
Actually, I think he's more a network guy. He's more Brian Williams or...
No, he's on like ACN is like CNN.
They do reference CNN in the show
Yeah.
as if they are not CNN.
Right, because they're not legally allowed. Or I'm sure.
Right. No, but I mean,
they are a
that
news.
exists.
They're a 24-hour news network, not a new late night news show on a television network.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
So, so played by Jeff Daniels, who's figured out his career as being Mr. Plain Jane, Mr. Never get into a fight, just pure vanilla guy, and that has made him a very wealthy man who doesn't seem very satisfied with his life. At the beginning of the show, he snaps and kind of goes on a, tirade about news media in general, and thus changes all of the dynamics of his current show. New people come in, the new EP played by Emily Mortimer, right? Sam Waterston plays the head of the network, which is great to see Sam Waterston back doing drama, television, weekly drama. Anywho, hilarity ensues. No, actually some hilarity. I actually saw a little promo on this on NBC, and they called it a romantic comedy.
Interesting.
Very. So, Danielson... A lot of people, and I did want to say, one of the actors in this fraternity brother of mine, True Tran, I'm very excited to see him in it, so, sup. Danielson.
As fascinated as I am about the inner workings of a newsroom, I would be much more interested to see something like this about the inner workings of HBO. Because I don't know how, HBO is like the Yankees of TV. They can't make a bad show. They've made a couple, shows. But not really.
True Blood.
They're batting average. No, True Blood's
great. I think it's terrible.
From whatever. I'm not talking about True Blood.
Yeah.
But I just can't believe that I don't get it. And there's some secret sauce in the way they handle. I don't get it. I want to know it. I want to see that. Fascinating. Anyway, saying that because Newsroom is incredible. This could have been released in theaters with 20 more minutes, and it would have been my favorite movie of the year. The pilot that we saw, this first episode.
And we saw the pilot, a very early version of the pilot, so there were scenes missing and things like that.
Right. But, I mean, there's that movie that Ron Howard made a few years ago with Michael Keaton called The Paper.
Yeah,
it's
good
about
movie.
the day in the life. Right, and like this could have been that movie. It doesn't feel like, I mean, it certainly does a wonderful job setting up what's to come in a series, but it's a self-contained story in many respects, and an awesome story, and thrilling and exciting, and there's all the things that you wanted to do. Aaron Sorkin did a similar thing with Studio 60, where like, you learned a little bit about how things get made in this new world. That was about late night television, this about news. But the human drama is all there. The casting is incredible. The series casting is amazing. All the big players, the ones that you mentioned.
Also the kid from
Dev Patel.
Slumdog Millionaire.
But also the episode casting, people that were not, I don't think we would see throughout. Just in the opening sequence, there's a guy moderating a discussion between the newscasters and the college kids that felt so authentic. And Aaron Sorkin's writing and TV shows are often easier to describe as being very stylized, but and even Social Network is but it was very real. It was very grounded, those opening sequences. I know the pilot and a few episodes directed by Greg Mottola, who did Superbad and Day Trippers and Paul. I don't know how much an episode director has in the episode casting. I bet that's probably one of the bigger tasks. And I just found that just the casting to be really realistic. And the dialogue is incredible. It's got that Aaron Sorkin, like 1930s crackling banter.
Quippy.
But like it doesn't stray from that, but it's awesome.
So you're gonna watch more.
And I mean, I couldn't.
You hated it.
I couldn't be more excited for another week.
Nice.
I mean, I think I'm more excited for the next episode than I was for Game of Thrones or
Interesting.
whatever.
Yeah.
What am I? Oh, The Killing or any
Other
Mad Men
things.
Or,
other
any
things.
of those. Yeah.
Cool. Jeffrey, you're a big fan of West Wing.
Yes.
Big fan of, you're a Sorkin Dorkin, as they can say. I've just made that up.
No one says that.
That's awesome.
You're a Sorkin Dorkin. So what do you think?
He's a Marvel
of,
zombie from way back,
and
and
a
he's a
Sorkin
Sorkin Dorkin.
Yeah. Two
What do
things
you
that are both
think
true.
of the Newsroom?
Well, I have to apologize right at the top because I
didn't watch
Of
it.
all the hyperbole that's about to
I'm going to gush, and I'm probably going to embarrass myself.
Nice.
The West Wing is one of my top 3 to 5 shows of all time. And I honestly can say, without hyperbole, that I don't think I ever watched a single episode of The West Wing that Aaron Sorkin wrote that I didn't cry during. And it's not because it was sad, it's because of how much it resonates with me, that quality. Aaron Sorkin doesn't write the world the way it is, he writes the world the way it should be. And Newsroom is a return to that. I mean, in the way that he showed us how politics could be if only everything went right and the right people were in the right place. In the same way, it's like he's going to show, mass media, the news business right now is broken. And he's going to show us how to fix it. And that's what this show is about. And I love the quality of what he infuses into people. It is smart people doing their jobs with passion and integrity and sacrificing to do what's right. You don't find drama about that. It's all too rare. And that's the kind of world I want to live in. And for an hour a week, I'm going to get to. I'm going to get to live in a world where
Sorkin
the
Town.
best people are doing the best job they can because they believe in it, and they'll do anything to do the right thing. And it fills me. I cried 3 times during this pilot, I'm not ashamed to say. And it's all because I think one of the most powerful things you can see in drama is courage and integrity. And that's on display in these people, not to mention the fact that the dialogue is so powerful. I mean, I think one of the greatest lines of television is in several probably, but one that resonated particularly with me when the woman, the new EP, finds out some information that she didn't know before, and she goes, "All right, okay, you're gonna see some things." And I was like, that is the greatest line. And you know, somebody else says that it's all about speaking truth to stupid, and it's about like what we need to do to like recapture our country and our lives and what's right, you know. And I really don't feel like it's as ideologically centered as, I mean, it doesn't feel like it's pushing an agenda other than let's not be dumb, let's be informed, and let's get information out there. I also think it's a brilliant idea, to set the show 2 years ago.
That's a little spoiler.
Yeah, I think that was well, spoiler.
Yeah.
Okay, spoiler,
Yeah.
but I think it's brilliant.
That moment was
is one of the best
amazing.
moments of
television.
anything.
Yeah.
Of anything.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
I agree.
I didn't see that as a spoiler, but the show was out yesterday. Hopefully you saw it. Yeah, I think it's a really brilliant idea because he doesn't have to be inventing things like he was on The West Wing. It can be always about what actually was happening, and so it's so much more powerful talking about an event that I remember and that really was a big deal.
It's in the sweet spot too of the of stuff that we now know what happened. We're not still like if it would also have been fun for it to be like last month's news,
right? Yeah.
But we wouldn't be able to have the Sunday afternoon quarterbacking of Monday morning quarterbacking.
Sunday afternoon quarterbacking,
Also,
aka
Actually,
quarterbacking.
quarterback.
Yeah, aka playing in
we
football
wouldn't
games.
have the proper information to really say what
don't
the
have the
scenario is,
hindsight.
but it's not so far away where it's in our distant kind. We go, I don't remember. Like it's all going to be like, oh yeah, I remember that, but we can really kind of have all the.
I want to say one quick last thing,
for
real
it.
quick, is that someone described it as being a romantic comedy, and it is also that. And it is also this romance that I walked away from that and went, she's an amazing woman, and this is an amazing thing, and I want to see that relationship happen too. He does such a great job of seeding all the relationships.
Yeah.
It's one of the greatest pilots I have ever seen, and it's spectacular.
Yeah. I mean, not to echo too much for too long, but it's really an amazing piece of art, and it does something which I think is very rare, which is to feel like it has a political viewpoint without actually having a political viewpoint, which I think is exactly what this show is about, which is and this is my only worry about this show is if it starts to slide into having a clear political viewpoint, it then is doing what it is purporting to put a light on. And that's my only sort of worry, because what it talks about is what everybody should be upset about is that people are seeking out the facts that back up their facts, not actually the facts, and then making informed decisions about things. And everybody does it. Everybody does it. People who say they don't do it are just doing it and lying to themselves about doing it. That's how we are consuming political media and news media in this day's world. And there's some of the lines where it's like we're more a divided country now. The more so the I can't remember how they put it because I'm fucking not Aaron Sorkin. Right. But basically, he said in the past something about the Civil War. Something about the Civil War.
It's Sunday morning quarterback.
I'm Monday morning quarterbacking. Tuesday afternoon schlepping, fishing. Anyway, long story short, great movie. Performances across the board Performances across the board are fantastic. I love that Sam Waterston is being the character that he's being after loving him in Law and Order for so many years. To see him as this sort of idealistic goofball is just a joy to watch, and all of these actors are just joys to watch.
That lunch that they have
amazing.
Is so. I mean, there's so many scenes.
Amazing.
I would imagine about the political neutrality of the show. I suspect that it goes beyond just being politically neutral. I suspect that wherever political side you lean towards, you're gonna think that the show is speaking to me. Like you're gonna go,
which is a trick.
That's right.
That's
I
a
know.
total trick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're more liberal, you're gonna go, yeah, that's what I've been saying. And if you're more conservative, you go, yeah, that's my point, because it takes a stand for ideals that either side have passionately, but it doesn't go into the ramifications of those ideals that.
And it really
take
does.
sides.
And to be honest, in almost any other hands, I think this show could have been a massive failure. But to hear, and the other thing is, sort of like Joss Whedon, there's such a sort of
voice
rhythm of his writing that is so clearly apparent, yet for whatever reason doesn't take you out. It's like David Mamet, where you hear every Mamet line, but you never not believe that that's what those characters are saying in that exact moment.
He's a
it's crazy.
Writer. He's a
So anyway, Newsroom came out on Sunday. Do check it out. It's well worth a watch. It's really spectacular stuff. And every Sunday we get to enjoy it again. Yeah. So, boom, news is on. All right, everybody, be sure to stick around. We're going to be answering one of your Twitter questions right after this. But first, we want to thank our sponsor, HostGator.com. HostGator can get your blog or website up and running in just minutes with plans starting at just $3.96 a month. You get 24/7 support, access to a website building tool with over 4,000 templates.
A lot of templates.
They'll even migrate your current site over to HostGator completely for free. Not only that, if that was not enough, the servers are 130% powered by wind energy.
So they help your conscience.
They help your conscience by 30%. Also, for TRS viewers, HostGator is offering 25% off your order your first month is completely free. Just go to HostGator.com and enter the coupon code Totally Rad Show, all one word, at checkout.
It's a great deal.
Amazing stuff. Also amazing stuff, Comic-Con panel coming up Friday.
Whoa, what?
Friday of Comic-Con.
Our
at
panel?
8 p.m., room 24A, B,
I hear
C.
all the fun will be there.
All the fun.
And the Jackson 5.
Well,
We got them? Yeah, we scored them?
They're for anyone who performs in room ABC. Ba-dum-bum.
Join us tomorrow when we go hands-on with Spec Ops: The Line.
Today's Twitter question, sent in with the hashtag #TRSQ, comes in to us from Samuel Smith at _1_Sam. If you could bring any fictional building, a la the Wonka factory, into the real world, which one would you bring? Now, this question raises a lot of other questions.
Well, the biggest problem with this question is that he names the coolest one
That
in
is
the
one
question.
of the. Yes. Well, do you have another one?
I have several.
Okay, well, let's pick one and then we'll.
Okay, the first one that popped into my head, Stark Tower. Especially if I get to live there.
That's great.
If I get to live there, and I have especially from the Avengers movie where it's got all built in, put on the suit while you're just walking home.
I mean, really, is the next one Wayne Manor? Because
yes,
right, very cool.
Cave.
The other two I were thinking of is Scrooge McDuck's tower,
with
diving
money.
In the money.
Nice,
super
also
fun.
Good.
And George Jetson's house.
Also good.
With all the walking platforms.
At that point, maybe Fred Flintstone's place with all the dinosaurs that are garbage disposals that you can
I feel like there's a
with.
high danger factor.
Yeah, there's a high danger
I agree.
factor.
I was gonna say the Mos Eisley Cantina, just so that you could go. But then it was the question of, well, do all the crazy aliens
hope you like that
shoot
arm.
people? I don't.
No, along those lines, I was thinking Richie Rich for having the luxury.
Yeah.
But also, isn't there a building in the Matrix where the key guy's opening the different doors?
Yeah.
You could just kind of go anywhere.
Yeah, but I think those are more the keys than the door hallway. But I was gonna say Boulder Hill from Mask. Would love to have Boulder Hill sit down in the chair, Mask. I'm assuming all the cars are there. So anyway, great question. Thank you, Samuel Smith.
Really, Wonka Factory.
Wonka Factory.
Or the Lost Room.
I would even just take.
Why would you want that?
Because the motel room, I have all those magical powers that's inside the motel room.
No, they're all gone.
Yeah,
you just can get there and get
filled with-
stuck.
it's
Very
not
problematic.
Yeah.
I would even just take the fizzy lifting drink room.